The trail of the 3rd Army and the 19th Tactical Air Command of the 8th Air Force is marked by more than 40,000 white crosses, 40,000 dead Americans.
We were young and soldiers called to dedicate our lives in the name of God and country. Do what's just for us, go do what's right. A hot band of brothers waiting on our chance to add one more page unto the victory dance. Here am I, Lord, send me, send me. Victory lies in the spirit of the lives of the men who died for me.
Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" And I said, "Here am I. Send me."
This is Michael Broderick, Marine Corps veteran, actor, and Gallant Few board member. You are listening to the New American Veteran on Vets on Media. Now here's Carl Monger.
Hey, good afternoon. Today is June 11, 2014. I need somebody to give me a combo check out there because I'm not sure if I'm coming through strong or not. Hey, if this is the first time that you've listened or seen the show, welcome. The New American Veteran is dedicated to those who said, "Here am I, send me," and we honor veterans, highlight those who have transitioned successfully, and identify resources that help veterans leverage their military experience into successful and rewarding lives after the military. Gallant Few's goal is to connect every new veteran with a hometown veteran mentor. The purpose is to help every veteran achieve a smooth, peaceful, and successful transition, thereby preventing veteran unemployment, homelessness, and suicide. We do this by creating and supporting a nationwide network of successfully transitioned veterans that engage locally with new veterans with the same military background now going through transition. We also seek to motivate communities all over the nation to take responsibility for veterans returning, welcoming, connecting, and including. I like to say Gallant Few is everywhere because Gallant Few is where you are, but you're not going to find Gallant Few on a zip code map of services anyplace. So people got to know that we're out here, and you can help spread the word and make sure that everybody knows. A couple of things that I want to talk about before we get into the show. The first one is Flag Day. Murphy, Texas is, and let me make sure I got my guest muted there just so he doesn't make any noise by accident. Murphy, Texas is doing an event coming up here on Flag Day, and I'm going to pull up their flyer here if I can track this guy down and let you take a look at what they're doing. Murphy has decided that they want to be one of the communities that leads the way in showing how a community can engage and welcome veterans back home. So here is, hopefully you'll be able to see that. It's an invitation to join the City of Murphy and a couple other organizations on Flag Day, which is this Saturday morning. Breakfast is at 9 o'clock, free for any veteran. They've got a speaker that's supposed to talk that is supposed to be a great guy. I haven't heard him yet, Doyle Dempsey. And then they're going to do a Freedom Shrine dedication at 10:15. After that, they'll have a Veteran Resources Fair. This is a great, great opportunity for people to find out what is going on in this part of the Texas area. Now, Murphy, Texas is a little, you can't even call it a village, really. It's a small town that is connected within the greater DFW complex. And the way that this came about, I have to mention this real quick because Dr. Carrie Elk, the Elk Foundation, who we work with to provide post-traumatic stress therapy for veterans and some family members, she happened to bump into, at I think it was a spring break event, she was on vacation with her daughter, and she bumped into one of the city council folks from the City of Murphy, and they started talking about what each other one did, and the City of Murphy guy said, you know, we would really like to be able somehow to connect with and help out veterans. And so she suggested that he meet with me. Carrie and I sat down and we met with the City of Murphy folks, and we put this event together. So we're very excited about the way this is coming together. And I'm going to keep looking down at my desk if I don't move this microphone up. So let me adjust this here real quick. I've got my operating laptop is down here with all the stuff that I've got to control the show on, but the camera is up here. So I want to make sure that I keep coming back and forth and addressing you so you can see me when I'm talking to you. So anyway, City of Murphy is leading the way in how a small town, and I mean this is a micro small town, can help engage and connect with veterans locally. Hopefully, if you're in the area, you'll come out. Sure would like to see you there. Another piece of news, this one is not a great piece of news. You may have seen the press release that came out this morning that said that there was a fratricide incident in Afghanistan. They said special forces or special operations soldiers were killed when a B-1 bomber dropped a bomb in the wrong place, and it landed on that team. Now, we know two of the soldiers that were in that team. One is Aaron Toppin, who's a 19-year-old, just entered the Army not too long ago, and Justin Helton, who's a 25-year-old. I don't know what branch of the service. I'm assuming that they're Army, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are. Special operations troops are the ones that are out in contact with the enemy more than anybody else now in Afghanistan. Everything else is retracted significantly. So we'll have to wait and find out exactly what's going on there. But 5 brave Americans killed by a misdirected bomb. This is a very serious business, and people die in training, people die in accidents in the military, and people die by enemy fire. And that stuff, the fog of war, is something that happens, but it doesn't make it any easier. It actually, I think, probably makes it harder on the families and on the comrades for those 5. Now, remember, whenever there's a number that are killed, there's probably some other Americans that are in that area or Allied troops that were injured. So there could be 3-4 times that many that have various injuries, depending on how big the area was, how many soldiers were operating in that area. So our hearts and prayers certainly go out to all of them. And right before I bring the guest on the line, I'm going to ask for a moment of silence, and let's remember that team when we do that moment of silence. You know, 36 NATO soldiers have been killed in Afghanistan so far this year, and 8 of them have been killed in June. I think all 8 of those were Americans. 8 killed in Afghanistan the month of June. That's a very sobering statistic. When you think about what is going to happen with the soldiers that are there, what's going to happen with the country after we leave, and then you direct your attention in the news to Iraq, and you learn that Mosul has now fallen and is in the hands of the terrorists, and it's like, what did we spend a surge on? What have we done all this for when everything's just going to revert back? And without getting into a lot of details about that, it's very unfortunate that that's happened, that's working out the way that it is. On a happy note, I want to give a shout out to the nomadic veterans, Leo Jenkins and Marty Scoveland. I tried to see if I could get them on the line so that we could do an update from the field. I was not able to do that, but I'm going to see if it's possible for me to play this video, and I'm going to do a couple of quick jumps around here to see if I can get it so y'all can see it. Should be coming up here in just a second. And another second. You know, I might not like the fact that I'm streaming and trying to play this video at the same time. So I'll tell you what. It's kshb.com, which is channel 41, the Kansas City area. I encourage you to go take a look at that because they do a nice job of interviewing these guys, and they talk about why they're doing it and what they're doing. I'm not going to waste any more time trying to play that because that's just not working out. So, whoops, let me get back. You don't need to see the man behind the curtain. So just real brief to tell you what's going on with Leo and Marty. They got a hold of me a couple of weeks ago, and they said, you know, we would really like to be able to talk about veteran issues. We'd like to be able to get that on a stage that's more of a national stage, and we'd like to be able to raise some money while we do it. So they decided that they would launch out from Denver, Colorado, midnight Saturday, so just a few days ago, and they would see how far they could go with $100 in their pocket, a backpack on their back, and their wits. And this morning they made it into Kansas City, and they were interviewed on Channel 41 Kansas City. I'll put that show in the blog, and I still have to publish Patrick Kilpatrick's information from last week, but that's coming. But I'll put the link to the video on there so you can see they are having a great experience. They even posted on Facebook last night, jump from a moving train, check. So you know they're having the time of their life, and they're making some good use of the media that they're gaining to draw attention to veterans issues and what Gallant Few does about that. I've got my guest that's already holding here, so let me see if I can bring him on real quick. And right before I do that now, reminding me, we're going to do a quick moment of silence. Remember the casualties, the 5 killed in action, and those that are hurting, and certainly the family members that may not even be notified yet. All right. Now, let me see if I can do this right. Special Operations Warrior Foundation has been a very important part of taking care of soldiers. And Noel, let me see if I can get you on here. I'm working on a way that I will be able to bring on. Hey, Noel, say hi. See if we got you.
Hey, Carl, how you doing today?
Outstanding, Noel. I'm glad that you're here. Hey, for the audience, the Special Operations Warrior Foundation is an organization that supports the families of all branches of the Special Operations world, so all branches of the service. And we're going to talk here in a minute specifically about what they do. It is an absolutely outstanding organization, and it's one that I've supported financially in the past, and I need to do that again because I owe them some money now because it's been a while since I donated. They are absolutely first-class organization. And Noel, you are, what is exactly your title? Director of Family Services or something like that?
That is correct. I'm the Director of Family Services. I have a staff of 3 to include myself, which is 4. And we cover down on advocating for the survivors. We also have a budgeting representative here who is a recipient of the foundation. And we have a licensed clinical social worker and another budgeting and advocate as well.
How long has the Special Operations Warrior Foundation been around?
We've been around since, when we started. Before I go on, Carl, this is Edie Rosenthal. She's our Deputy Director of our PR.
Hi, how are you?
And so Edie is graciously, I asked her to come on with us as well, but we covered down our children's from Operation Eagle Claw from 1980, but we've been around since 1985. But we have 1980. Okay, so I stand corrected. 1980, but
now see what you did. You invited a woman to join you on the thing, and she's already corrected you.
Let me set him straight here, Carl. The Special Operations Warrior Foundation was founded in 1980 after we had that terrible aircraft mishap in the desert of Iran. We lost 8 guys in the desert, and they left behind 17 children. And as a result of that, you can imagine the guys that were on the ground had to do something. So at that point, they passed a hat, and they were going to provide college education for those 17 children. So you fast forward today, where we are now, with over 1,000 children of fallen warriors.
From passing the hat at that very first time when they realized they needed to do that, you guys have, I mean, that was a handful. How many have you helped now overall?
Right now we have in our database 1,034 children, of which 239 of them have graduated. We have 159 that are currently active going to college, and we have another 30 that have been accepted to college that have graduated from high school this year.
I have a real soft spot for Special Operations Warrior Foundation because 22 years ago this October, a helicopter crash killed 12 of my friends, and one of them in particular, the 1st Ranger Battalion commander, had a couple of kids, and Eric Staus being one of them. Mm-hmm. And you guys have taken care of him. You've helped pay for his education. You've provided a tremendous amount of support, and I am personally grateful because of that.
Well, we thank you, Carl. We like hearing testimonials like that. And just to be clear, that Special Operations, and just to reiterate, tell your viewers, it also covers down on all Special Forces, Rangers, Marine Special Operations, Air Force Special Operations, and of course Navy Special Operations as well. So it's just not one branch.
And you don't only...
It's attached to Special Operations and their support as well.
Super. You don't only... It's not just benefits for the family of a special operator that's passed away. You do a lot more work than that.
Yes, we have 3 core values. Our first core value is obviously we provide the college scholarships to the children of the fallen special operators. We want them to carry on their mother and their father's legacy. That's very important to the foundation. The second core value is that we provide immediate $3,000 financial supplement or stipend to any of our wounded special operators that are evacuated out of the AOR through launch school and land in continental United States, whether it's SAMC, Walter Reed, or wherever. It could be a VA polytrauma. And that $3,000 to help that family get to the bedside, or however that operator wants to use the money, because it takes a couple of days for the government to come online. And then our third value, what we do is basically what I do, and is the advocacy piece. We have points of contact throughout the government where we can pick up the phone and answer questions for our survivors, or basically, Carl, beat the fires out.
That advocacy piece is huge, and one of the reasons I wanted to bring you guys on the show, you and I met for the first time at the Care Coalition conference. Like I said, I've known about Special Operations Warrior Foundation for a long time, and I thought, there are folks out there that want to support an organization. They want to make sure that the dollars that they give actually go into helping veterans and not just paying a bunch of high-priced executives. And I tell people all the time, as far as I'm concerned, the work that Gallant Few does is not a competition. We try to be as low budget, low cost, and provide the maximum amount of services that we can for that. But we want to be very close partners with organizations like Special Operations Warrior Foundation, because you guys do such great stuff, and it's immediate impact. And in fact, I'm going to make a quick call here. Let's see if this works, because I want to bring somebody on the line that you guys have helped.
All right.
I'm always amazed when this works.
Please leave your message for
Wow, now
619-508.
that is not what I wanted.
Oh, come on.
Let's see, 619, someone in San Diego.
And I was trying to mute that dang thing before it actually gave out the number. He's probably angry at me because he kept sending me a chat message saying, are we ready, are we ready? And I kept saying, will you quit freaking typing messages to me, because I'm trying to run a show here. So tell me about the latest thing that you guys have done that you'd like the audience to know about, and I'll text this guy and see if I can't get him to stand by his phone.
All right, Carl, let me tell you the portion on the more on the operational side, and I'm going to turn it over to Edie about what we're doing on the promotional side, which is really, really exciting. On our side, since the board voted retroactive from January 2013, we'll also extend the same benefits to the families of deceased special operators if they were killed in the line of duty. Now, what we mean, line of duty is it covers everything: killed in training, killed in action. But we're specifically talking about, and we're seeing throughout the special operations community that we have members on active duty that are somehow coming up with cancers and are dying of cancers all of a sudden. So that's one way we'll extend benefits. Also, and I hate using this, but I will. I don't know any better way of doing it. We had a special operator, one of the groups, 20-some years, 4 or 5 deployments, just got off duty, drove off the post, and got hit by a truck and died because of that accident. Well, that's in the line of duty. That would be a line of duty yes. So if they're line of duty yeses, the Special Operations Warrior Foundation will also extend the same benefits to the survivors as well. So that's really good. And right now we're tracking about 28 of those LODs, mostly from the USASOC side. But I'm going to turn it over to Edie because we do have a promotion.
Do we have our guest back?
Oh, yeah, just a minute. Let me call him again. He said he's ready, so let's see if he... I know I got the right number.
Please leave your message
Wow,
for
come on. That is just not-
6195087.
Stop. Well, I guess we're not going to have him on the line.
Okay, well, let me turn it over to Edie. She's going to talk about what's happening, some of the promotional stuff that we're doing, Carl.
Well, what we're doing this summer is a pretty exciting promotion with the 5 Hour Energy folks. They are doing a special limited edition cherry flavor for the Special Operations Warrior Foundation. And they are donating 5 cents for every bottle. They've guaranteed $75,000, which they've already donated to the foundation. And we're hoping to raise a whole lot more from that. In addition to the proceeds from the bottle, they're also helping us with, they shot a commercial with several of our family members, and it's been airing on a lot of different of the channels. I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's really well done. It's
an awesome commercial. It is. It's very well done, and I like the way that the attitude that they have on it. It's upbeat, and it talks about, what's going on and how the organization has helped. It's great.
Yeah, we don't have any kind of budget for the advertising like that. It's really expensive, and I
can't even imagine how much that all costs.
They did everything, shooting it. They shot the footage. They went to all the families, and they paid for all the advertising spots. So, they've been really wonderful to work with.
I would ask how you go about getting one of those things set up, but I don't want to give away your secrets online here. So.
They came to us actually. Yeah. They came into us, because we are a top-rated charity in the United States by Charity Navigator. We're in the top 1% of all the charities. So that goes a long way with 5 Hour Energy and also with other companies and as well as our donors. So we are listed there, and they were interviewing several different charities, and we talked them into selecting us. We're pretty easy to work with. There's only 14 of us on the staff. We don't have a big bureaucracy to go through. So they like that a lot. They're easy to work with. We're flexible. So we're very happy to have them.
Okay, he just texted me and he said he's not getting anything from his end. So I sent him my SPAC number. So let's see if he's going to call me here.
Okay.
I'd like to bring him.
Otherwise, you tell me who it is and we'll just talk about them. We know stories. Yeah.
Hello, is this Casey?
This is Casey.
Casey, I have you on the line live on the New American Veteran. And can you guys hear Casey?
Yes, I can hear him.
We can.
Yes.
All right. Finally, the technology all pulls together. So Casey Gray is on the line here. Does that name sound familiar to you guys?
Is it familiar to you?
Yeah, not recently.
Hey, Casey, tell Noel what Special Operations Warrior Foundation, Noel and Edie are both on the line. Tell them what Special Operations Warrior Foundation did for you.
Okay. Back when I came off of active duty, I had started a business, and I was donating money to the Special Operations Warrior Foundation through T-shirt sales and other things. And then in 2011, I was recalled to active duty, and I was in a CH-47 helicopter crash. And I was medevaced back to Brooke Army Medical Center. And at the time, the military had an issue with my orders and pay, so they cut off all my pay. My family had, no money. Coming in, they weren't able to fly. So the Special Operations Warrior Foundation met me at the hospital the day I arrived. They had representatives there with a check in hand to cover all of my family's expenses, all of their travel, and they told me that if there was anything my family needed, and that, at any cost, to contact them and they would have it taken care of. And without the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, we would have been in some dire straits there, and they really came through when I needed them, and it was a godsend that they were able to help me and my family.
Totally unexpected to you, wasn't it, Casey?
I did not expect them to be there. No one told me they were going to be there. I woke up and there was, the individuals were there with a check, and it was one of those big events where, it shocked you in your life, that you thought everything was falling apart, and here comes out of nowhere someone to save you.
Casey, that's not an unusual story. We just happen to have an operator as well that I personally delivered a check to about 3 months ago. It's kind of the same type of situation. And when the doctors left, we just walked in and say, hey, thank you for what you do and keeping us free. And we're sorry you're in this predicament, but maybe this will help. And the wife broke down and cried because now she was able to get his mother and dad to the bedside now. So, Casey, we want to thank you for that story. That's outstanding, and thank you for your service as well.
Well, thank you guys. To me, it wasn't about the money at all. It was about, the brotherhood of people being there for you, and it's like an extended family, and it was about that, the support that they brought to the table. You guys specifically brought and were there for my family, just no matter what. And, that's what makes you guys a great organization, and that's what, makes people believe in everything that you do. And I thank you, thank you guys for the services you provide to veterans and that you have provided to me specifically. And I can't thank you enough. And if there's anything I can do for you guys, I'm here and I will do.
Well, we appreciate it. I mean, we're all veterans here too, and we absolutely, what would we want for ourselves if we were in the same situation? That's how we think here. Is we would want somebody there to meet us and take care of our family, so that if I was hospitalized, I would want to know that I could focus on myself because someone else is going to take care of my family.
Okay, so Casey, you hang on the line here because I want to keep you on when we bring Boone on. But how can, besides going out and buying a whole bunch of 5-hour energy, how can you support Special Operations Warrior Foundation right now?
The best way is to go to our website. If you're not familiar with us, if you go to our website, which is specialops.org, you can read all kinds of stuff about us. We have testimonials from our students, and we have all of our financial information up there if you want to check us out. So we are very transparent. So I don't know if you wrote there.
90%.
Oh, he's trying to tell me make sure I plug in that our overhead is very low. That's what also makes us one of the top-rated charities. Is that less than 5% of every dollar goes to our overhead. So that's why there's only 14 of us running around here trying to juggle lots of different tasks at one time. So if you check out our website, you'll find out everything you want about us. And if you have any questions, you can either call myself or call Noel. We'll be glad to talk with you.
Super, guys. Hey, thank you for being on the show. We love the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, love everything that you guys do, and look forward to working with you in the future. Hopefully we won't have to work together a lot, but on those occasions that we do have to work together, I'm looking forward to really helping out that veteran and family.
Okay, thanks for having us.
Carl, thanks for having us, and it was just a pleasure meeting you at the CARE Coalition, and I'm glad we have this opportunity to share and start up a good relationship between our foundation and your foundation. And if you would you pass Casey our phone number and everything? He can, we're here 24/7. We all have Blackberries, and we just have, it's our dog collar.
Absolutely, I will. I'll be happy to do that.
All right, Carl. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Right. While I am bringing, you know what, Casey, I can't have you and Boone on the line at the same time because I've called you on my Skype line, and now I don't have another Skype line.
Oh, it's okay. I can. I'll come in on the Google Hangouts on a computer right now.
I don't think that's going to work because there are a couple of steps involved in pulling all that together.
Oh, okay.
But what I would like to do before I bring Boone on, I've got a couple of minutes here. I would like to have you kind of describe what we're going to talk to Boone about is the Warfighter Bill of Rights, and in particular, some of the injustices that are happening. As I pull Boone's picture up here, some of the injustices that are happening to our veterans, mostly male veterans, but some female veterans as well. And you experienced this as well. So can you just tell the audience real quick what you went through and what it did to you?
Yes, and like I said before, I had been in since 1999, and multiple deployments back to back. And in 2011, I was in a helicopter crash, and I was brought to Brooke Army Medical Center, and my family was brought down, and it ended up my wife at the time, my kids were there, and my wife ended up telling me that she couldn't be a hospice worker, and she didn't want to be with someone that was in a wheelchair, and she ended up leaving me while I was there and taking my children. And we filed for, divorce and for child custody. So we got into a custody battle at that time. And, I was at the time a special operations unit, and I was a victim of domestic violence as a male, from my wife. And I had reported this through the hospital while I was there because it was occurring. And, the military police there had come, and, they kind of laughed when they got there. I was bleeding and injured, and not from the crash, but from an assault from my wife. And I had told explained to the police, and they were laughing, and they were like, yeah, how could a woman assault a special operations soldier, and it was just like a good joke for them. Well, it went on, and we went through our custody battle. And when we got into court, this was brought up, and that we had a female judge, and the judge had what I would like to, in my humble opinion, characterize as anti-military sentiment, because she had a military father. And we brought up the domestic violence. We brought up therapists that reported that they had diagnosed me with battered spouse syndrome. And because of my job and I was injured, I became the victim of the court system, because everyone wants to believe the only victims of domestic violence can be the female in the situation. And it went through, and then the mother, because I was in a helicopter crash and I had a traumatic brain injury, claimed that my TBI and my PTSD, which I did not have, claimed that I had PTSD because of my TBI, and the judge just took it as fact, didn't give us a chance to fight it. So we challenged it in court, and I had to spend over $10,000 of my personal money going to TBI doctors, to therapists that specialize in PTSD, and get multiple evaluations. It took about a month, and when they came back, they cleared me of PTSD, said that my TBI, while it was a moderate TBI, that I was, functioning fine, and that I was no threat. And I had to take a threat analysis for risk, because she was claiming that because of my war experience, that I could possibly perpetrate child abuse, and which was ridiculous. So I had to go to a child therapist and get approved by them. And it was a long, drawn-out battle, all from accusations in a family court, because I had been in the military and because I had deployed.
Can you estimate what the financial hit to you was?
I can do better than estimate. I have right now we're requesting attorney's fees in court, and we're over $300,000 in fees.
Wow.
And the only reason that I was able to get to this point and continue racking up these fees was another organization, the Green Beret Foundation, stepped in, and they provided me a pro bono lawyer from a very large law firm, and that pro bono lawyer racked up hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal bills that were covered. And it was, it was all fighting accusations that were false and that we had to prove were false. And at the end of the day, we've recently ended that, the issue with the false allegations, and I was cleared completely. And that, the judge came on record and said it was an unfortunate abuse of the child welfare system and a manipulation by the mother of the father. And, I was vindicated. But in the end, at $300,000, how many soldiers can afford to vindicate themselves of those charges?
Well, yeah, and your run-of-the-mill E4 and the 1st Infantry Division is not going to have the Special Forces or the Green Beret Foundation step in and help them out. So you're exactly right. That what happens then is you default to guilty because you don't have the resources to fight it. And that's one of the things we're trying to help with, a nationwide network of veterans that are now attorneys, so that they can advocate on the behalf. And we're going to talk to Boone here in a minute about what the Warfighter Bill of Rights is and how he's planning on getting things changed.
Yes, and I think an important note, Carl, is if you guys look historically into the Soldier Sailor Civil Relief Act, there was a House bill that was pushed into the House twice and passed, which was a service Member Civil Relief Act, and it was known as the Family Protection Act. Once it got to the House, it was fully approved and supported, and it got to the Senate and died there. And I was told, I spoke to the VA, the leader of the VA committee, and she told me on the phone, she said, "Hey, I just got to be honest with you." She's like, this bill will never pass the Senate. There's too many women's rights groups that are fighting this bill, because if this bill, the Family Protection Act, passes and prevents combat experience from being used in family courts, it'll affect too many women's cases that have succeeded in getting custody. And she goes, "So we'll never allow this to pass." And she goes, "That's my honest opinion, or my honest answer to you. So you need to just give up and stop trying to fight this."
Well, we'll see what Boone's got, because I know that's what he's got, that kind of in his hip pocket as a threat that's coming too. So Casey, thanks for being on the show. I'm sorry I can't bring you on with Boone at the same time.
No, it's fine. Thank you for having me.
We'll figure this out, because with you and Bemis now at the Rancho Cucamonga area of Los Angeles, what I want to do is get you guys working as the control room, so that I'm not fiddling around trying to make all this stuff work on the backside.
We look forward to that.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon, Casey.
Thank you, sir.
All right, now I'm going to switch gears real quick. I'm going to work on bringing Boone Cutler on the line. While I'm waiting on Boone Cutler to come on the line, though, let me...
Hi, this is Matt Eversman. You're listening to Gallant Fuse, the New American Veteran, on Vets on Media.
Wow, that was really fast, wasn't it? Now let me plug in Boone's number. I gave him the 10-minute countdown here about 10 minutes ago. So as long as my phone actually makes his phone ring, we'll be good to go. Let's find out. So if that doesn't work, then I'll have him call me, just like I had Casey do it. Hello, Boone.
Carl, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Boone. You're live on the New American Veteran. Thank you for being there.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it,
I'm saying thank you for being there, too, because when I was calling Casey a minute ago, he never heard me ring, so twice I got his voicemail. You always love it when you're live on the show and you get this, "Please leave a message for..." And then
I like it better when I call someone, they don't realize that we're actually live on the air, and they start going, "All right, dude, what the hell you want to talk about, man?" And you're like, I don't know, go ahead, you just did.
All right, Boone. So this is the first time that you've come on the show with the new format with Vets on Media, and I appreciate you being here. And I just had Casey Gray on the line. We talked earlier in the show, talked to Special Operations Warrior Foundation about the work they do, and then Casey is an example of somebody who was injured on active duty, and the Special Operations Warrior Foundation stepped in and helped him significantly. And then I wanted to segue him in and have him talk with you on the line about the issues with the courts that he went through when his wife abused him, and they went through all of that stuff, but I couldn't have both of you on the phone at the same time. So he told his story. He just got done telling his story, and that segued us into the Warfighter Bill of Rights, which is top on your list of priorities now. Tell me about what is the Warfighter Bill of Rights and why?
Well, we're going to back up here. Let me get everybody oriented to the current situation. Right now, in the United States, this is just a fact, and it would surprise me if not every one of your listeners knows of a specific incident with somebody else, or mostly with themselves, that this has occurred in the warfighter community, and that's discrimination. We get discrimination from the courts, we get discrimination from housing, we get discrimination from employers. I mean, the list goes on. And it's not discrimination because people say, "Hey, I hate veterans," or "Hey, I hate people who joined the war." That's not what we're really dealing with, and we need to identify the real issue. The real issue, even according to the Department of Labor statistics, Department of Labor statistics say 46% of human resources managers in America find it difficult or a challenge to hire veterans today because of quote-unquote PTSD. Well, it's not the PTSD that's the challenge. It's the PTSD phobia, the phobia of PTSD. Because there's a lot of people in America that have PTSD, people that have been raped, people that have been through natural disasters, car wrecks, any type of intense situation that causes this quote-unquote anxiety disorder called PTSD. Well, Only a veteran, only a warfighter with PTSD gets discriminated against. You don't see a woman go to court who has PTSD from being raped, and being raped won't even come up in the court issue. However, if a warfighter goes to court, first thing they look at is military service. They assume you have PTSD. They assume that you're violent, and then they take their recourse based upon that information. So it doesn't matter. I mean, that's the definition of discrimination, where multiple people have the same condition, but only one part of that group gets discriminated against because of something they've done, they are, that they represent. That's discrimination.
Boone, is that
And
something that has come up recently in the history with the courts, or is this something that's been going on, for the last 30, 40 years?
It looks like it's a few decades, but now what we've done is we've really narrowed down the exact issue, and people are fed up, completely fed up. I mean, people who are having their children taken home just because they've been diagnosed with PTSD, or not even diagnosed. This is the sick part about it. The courts assume that since you have military service, then you must have PTSD, then you must be violent, then you must be incapable of being a parent. It's a total assumption. We see this over and over again. There's been no documentation that this person is a bad parent. There's been no documentation this person was even a violent spouse. However, because of the military service, the assumption is that there's PTSD, the assumption is that there's violence, and that's where the phobia comes in. Now, I had this knucklehead reach out to me not long ago and say, well, just stop telling people you got PTSD and they won't discriminate against you. Oh, my gosh. Really? I mean, that's how out of touch America is. It's not like we walk around saying, hi, I'm Bob, I have PTSD. That's not what happens. What happens is you go try and get an apartment. All right? You're a Joe. You just got off active duty. You got a nice young wife there that didn't leave you while you were deployed. You go try and get an apartment. You put down on your apartment application there. Where have you been the last 5 years? Oh, I was stationed at Fort Sill. Oh, I was at Benning. As soon as they see that, they say, that person has PTSD. I'm not going to rent to him. That's the phobia. So that's discrimination. You go further with it. You go down and try and get a job. Write down your job history. Oh, you were, I see you were stationed at Camp Pendleton here. Oh, yeah, I was in the Marines, blah, 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 blah. Did you deploy? Oh, yeah, I was in Afghanistan a couple times, da, 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 da. By the way, can I get a job loading boxes here? And they say, no, sorry, you're overqualified. Overqualified means get the hell out of my office. I think you have PTSD.
That's happening way too much. Is it happening to both men and women, or primarily men?
It's happening to both men and women. That's why, I mean, and in many ways, I think females have a little bit more of a difficulty because people don't know how to treat the females. You know, at one point in time, a female can go in and try and get a job. They see that military service, and they're treated just like the males. At another time, they come in and try and get that job. They put down the military service, and then they just get belittled by the person on the other end of the desk saying, "Oh, you must have just been you were a nurse in the rear or something like that," or I mean, it's being belittled. They don't know that female sitting in front of them maybe was with an MP unit in Afghanistan or Iraq. Maybe was on a female engagement team, a FET team, where they were actually going outside the wire and getting in firefights and things like this. That's just not accepted by America. It's total discrimination across the board. A lot of times it's from ignorance, complete ignorance, just like any other discrimination, just like any other racism. Discrimination, racism, ignorance.
So this came to a head with you when you got a phone call from a veteran.
Well,
you personally have experienced it too, but...
Say again, sir?
You personally have experienced this kind of discrimination.
I personally have experienced this discrimination. I kind of leave my personal stuff off to the side because I don't want anybody to say that I'm doing this for personal reasons. So I fight for everybody else. And if we can fix the whole situation, then we can fix my situation by proxy will be fixed. So I kind of try and an indication,
an indication of that is that when you were going through this situation, you weren't using your bully pulpit to talk about this, but you had a recent particular event that kind of launched what is going on right now in terms of a movement.
Yeah. Not my personal event, but something that happened to me. I had a guy on the show, or it wasn't a guy, it was a representative of this guy, because he was too afraid to come on the show and expose himself. He was afraid he was going to be retaliated against by a court. And so the story, the primary focus on the story was this lady was going to come on and she was going to talk about how this community got together to rally and do fundraisers and give money to this warfighter who was off active duty. And, well, let's go back a little bit. Long story short, this lady was in court as a to stand up to try and help out a kid, was going to testify on a case. Sees another case that's happening, and the judge had said, no, you can't have custody of your children because you have PTSD. That's the long and the short of it. No history of violence, no nothing, just judge made that ruling. The children were in state care on some level. This is what I know, on some level. Because the mother had given up the children as part of the Safe Relinquishing Act, I don't know, something like where, hey, you can give up your kids as long as you don't dump them in a trash can, they won't prosecute you. Well, she gave up the kids. She abandoned him while he was deployed. While he was deployed. Well, he comes home, gets out of the military, does what he's going to do, says, listen, I'm here full time, I want to be a dad.
Wow.
Well,
I'm sorry, I was just, she dumped the kids while he was deployed. So it's like kids, hey, your dad's gone, okay, now your mom's gone too. Bye.
Exactly. So he does the stand-up thing, comes home, gets out of the military, comes home, says, hey, can I have my kids? They're my kids. The judge says no. For what reason? He has PTSD. Well, the spectators in the courtroom thought it was wrong. They got together, did a fundraiser, got some money together for an attorney. The attorney filed the proper paperwork, did what attorneys do, I don't know. And then he got the kids back for like a day, 2 days maybe. And then he calls me one night. I had never spoken to him. I had only talked to the people that were rallying together to get him this money because he was too afraid to be exposed, which is common. I get this text message the night the story came out on my show. And it says, hey, Boone, this is Jason. And so-and-so gave me, put your number on my file. He starts going through, I can tell he's in crisis. He's talking to me. I immediately try and call him on the phone. Can't get through on the phone. He says, I smashed my phone after the police came. Now we're getting into the story. Long story short, police and CPS showed up at his house that night after he gotten the kids back. Picks the kids again. Okay, now you got a guy that has no longer has a military career, no longer has a family, gets denied by a court to have his children because he has PTSD, does everything right, gets the kids back, and then they come and take him again. That was it. The last thing he said to me before he shot himself was, they've taken everything from me, I'm done. And that was it.
Unimaginable. So if it didn't happen, that would be unimaginable. So first off, do you know how he is now?
I have no idea how he is now. I've given my information to the family. We're just respecting their wishes. When they want to reach out, we'll be there for them. I wish I knew more.
Sure.
But until the family wants to get together, last I heard he was in ICU, and I know his name is Jason, and we're just waiting from the family. But this issue is not just this issue. When I put out a video on this, it went viral in just a day, 2 days. I mean, over like 76,000 views. And then, I mean, this litany, hundreds of people reaching out saying, same things happened to me, 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 same things happening to me. And I've been doing these shows, Tipping Point Boone Cutler, for a few years now, and every week we have people coming on talking about these issues. And then it kind of dawns on you, this is discrimination.
Yeah.
This is discrimination based on PTSD phobia. And if you want to go through the litany of history, go back to the 60s, go back to the anti-war protests, go back to these people that were doing that. Well, those are the parents of the people working things now. So we still get discriminated against, but we're not getting spit on. But go try and get a job. Go try and get a house. Go try and get an apartment. Go step in front of the judge. The children of the people that discriminated against us in the 60s are discriminating against us now.
That's an amazing historical tie, and I can see how you can draw that direct line. Wow.
So right now, what has been started, the impetus for all this, and people, it's not like we haven't been sitting around and around the house, drinking a beer, talking on the phone or on social media, talking to a buddy saying, hey, you know what we should do? We should all rise up and stop this stuff. Everybody's thinking about it. Everybody's been talking about it. Many of us have been that warfighter in a situation where we're going, you know what? This overwhelming force is beating the hell out of me every day. I haven't done anything wrong. I wish there was a way someone could activate the QRF and get here and help me. Just show me some support. Get here. Show these people they can't do this to me. Every one of us has wanted that. And that's what we're creating. The Warfighter Rights Movement is the activist, the protest, the rally arm of the warfighter community. If you belong to any group that you want, be a civilian, it doesn't matter. There's only two classes of people in this world. Everybody who wants to bring up class warfare and all this other stuff, it's all distraction. There's only two classes, the warrior class and the non-warrior class. Well, we're calling on the entire warrior class, not just warfighters, to reach out now. Maybe you were that guy in high school that got a bum knee playing football, you couldn't join the military, but you still got the heart of the warrior. You're in the warrior class. You should be helping us. Maybe you're that person that had asthma, couldn't join. Well, now you can join. Join us. Maybe you're that Silver Star mom. We need you. We need you. Reach out to us. Find us. You can go to social media, find Warfighter Rights Movement on social media. You can find a video called Join the Warfighter Rights Movement, and then just follow the instructions. Our numbers are swelling huge now. We've got over 800 volunteers in the first week, and we're talking about volunteers that are sending letters, they're activating groups, big groups, motorcycle clubs, veteran service organizations, smaller groups, but across the nation, everybody is coalescing here. But I still need a little bit of help with the leadership. So we've separated the country into 5 brigades, 44 battalions. We've got a lot of our battalion leadership already set up, but we need the rest.
You have some very specific ways that people can, when you go and you look that video up, what's the website? Do you remember what the website?
Yeah, the website is warfightermedia.com, but I really need everybody to get oriented on the video before you go there, because like any good unit, you got to have some sort of initial orientation or training. So find the video, and I hope you put it up on your website, Carl, or on your Facebook page so people can find it readily. It's called Join the Warfighter Rights Movement. It gives all the details in there, tells you what to do, tells you what our purpose is, tells you what we need to make happen. And what we need to make happen, just like in the 1950s when they had the Civil Rights Act, well, now it's time for the Warfighter Rights Act, the Warfighter Rights Movement. We're going to have class action lawsuits. We're going to have rallies. We're going to have sit-ins. We're going to have civil disobedience. We're going to have demonstrations, just like they did then, mass numbers. But we're going to do it like a professional does it, because we're professionals. We're going to act like professionals, and we're going to show the United States of America that we are the leadership community, that we can get this stuff done. But first we have to make ourselves seen. Once we make ourselves seen, then we can coalesce and we can get this information. We can target, and that's what we need to do. We need to start targeting these people that are discriminating against us as a group.
This will be a great opportunity also as you organize and as you become more visible and vocal to prove to the non-warfighter community that we're not a dangerous threat. We're not taking over buildings with guns and, you know, doing things that stereotypically they would think we would be doing. So it's an opportunity on multiple levels to show, to prove, to enact change, and to motivate others to do the same.
We're here to be leaders. We will not assimilate. However, we will infiltrate to educate, and that's it. We do not assimilate. We infiltrate and educate. We can show these people. We can show up in numbers of thousands, have a peaceful rally, but not be pushed around. We have no intention to be pushed around. Violence isn't something I think any of us are afraid of, nor is anything we're worried about. However, we're going to control that. We're not going to be anybody's puppet. We're not going to let anybody throw up any false flags. We're very centralized with our messaging. We're very centralized with people understanding this is a non-kinetic operation. There's times for kinetics, but that time isn't now. So settle your ass down on that stuff. Let's get this thing rolling. Remember, if we don't appeal to every soccer mom in America, we're not going to get change happening. So what do we need to do to get every soccer mom involved? Because if the soccer moms are involved, everybody else is involved. We've been able to reach our message to the people beyond our own choir once we do that.
All right, so the video is Join the Warfighter Rights Movement, and the website then is warfightermedia.com. But to find the video first, I'll put the link out with the information on this show so people can find it easily.
Thank you very much for that, sir.
Boone, I appreciate you being on the call today. Thank you.
Hey, don't forget, I need a G3.
You do need a G3. He's asked me to help him find somebody that can be his operations guy, and I'm looking.
All right. Anybody out there listening, you want to get involved, we need senior level officers that have G3 level experience because operations are going to be a real issue here, and we want to make sure we get somebody qualified, at least more than me. I'm making it happen. We've got a lot of good people, but we can make it happen a little bit better with that type of oversight.
Well, that dictates the direction and course. So very important.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, Boone, thank you. Take care, buddy.
Thanks for your time. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Hi, this is Jay Irwin. I'm an Army veteran, and you're listening to The New American Veteran on Vets on Media.
All right, well, wasn't able to bring everybody on by video today. My goal is, as we go forward, to be able to do that because I think it's extremely important to be able to interact and see the people that are talking because there's so much that comes across just in the facial features and the gestures that they make. But a couple of good messages today, and the first one, the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, go check them out, support them. If you can make a $5 donation, if you can buy a bottle of 5-Hour Energy, or if you can make a $500 donation, they certainly should be at the top of your list for that kind of support. Friends of mine have benefited greatly from that, and for that I'm very grateful. Also, we talked about some of the issues that happen with a warfighter, with a veteran, or even an active duty person being discriminated against by being accused of having post-traumatic stress and having opportunities or responsibilities of fatherhood or motherhood taken away because of that. And that's what Boone's all about, is enacting the kind of change that will make that change. And that change is only going to happen a couple of ways. One, it's going to happen through the courts. So, if there are lawsuits that can establish some precedent, other courts will follow that lawsuit. And then the second part is the legislation, which is more difficult given the climate and the kind of pressure groups that we talked about earlier. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. The problem is real. The problem is absolutely real. And I've talked with way too many veterans and some active duty folks that this has affected. All right, real quickly, next week, look for us on Tuesday. I'm going to be traveling Wednesday through the end of the week. My son-in-law is getting promoted to E9 in the Air Force, and I'm very blessed to be able to, first, to be his father-in-law, and second, to be able to go out there and watch the ceremony. Raider Project. I haven't talked enough about the Raider Project, and now I'm up against a very hard stop here, but raiderproject.org. Check it out. It's Marine Corps Special Operations and Marine Combat Troops network that replicates the initial work that we've done with the Ranger Network. Check them out. There is a host of support, information, resources, and how you can get involved at raiderproject.org. That beautiful rendition of TAPS is a public domain recording created by a soldier or employee of the United States Army, and as such is not eligible for copyright protection in the United States. Kenny Thomas' song Send Me is used by permission of Kenny Thomas. All other work or recording is original work or used by permission. This has been a presentation of Gallant Fuse, the New American Veteran, on the Vets on Media Global Network.